Hi, everyone. Michael Dickey here. I am co-founder of the Financial Coach Academy along with my wife, 𝗓𝗓𝗄, and I am also a business consultant to financial coaches, especially those that want to take their financial coaching business to the next level and learn how to be more effective, more efficient, and to actually find out what their true zone of genius is. Welcome to episode number 3 of the Rockstar Financial Coach Interview series presented by the Financial Coach Academy. In this video series, we want to interview some of our favorite rockstar financial coaches that we've helped train over the years to get their insights and tips and let you know that wherever you are in your financial coaching journey, that you are not alone. And there have been plenty of financial coaches that have been in the same place that you are right now, whether you're just starting out or an experienced financial coach. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest for today, Nikki Ferguson from Nikki Ferguson Financial Coaching. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us. Let's just start by why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit more about yourself and kind of your background leading up to becoming a financial coach.
Hi, I'm Nikki Ferguson. I live in East Tennessee. You'll be able to tell from the accent. And I came from a background in accounting and then elementary school education that led up to me becoming a financial coach. I like to say I coach on money and wellness. I like to help my clients lead a better quality of life, something that feels good for them, and so that they're in love with their lives. They don't have to live this hustle culture trying to make more money, make more money. Let's just manage what you have. So that's a little bit about me and what my background is.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. So I know this is always kind of a loaded question, and I think there's probably 2 answers. But when I ask you, Nikki, how long have you been doing financial coaching? How long have you been a financial coach? Like, what is the official answer? But then, what's the real answer?
I'm gonna say 2018 is when I started, for sure. So 4 years. But I didn't really dig into it until 2020. So about 2 years that I've been full force. This is it. This is what I'm going to make my my full-time gig.
Yeah, and so that was, I remember we had, conversations, maybe has it been 2 years ago? I don't know how long it is, but you were kind of out of that transition from leaving teaching.
Yes.
Being a full-time financial coach. Tell us how that planning came about. Like, what were the steps for you to leave that job that you loved, I'm sure, into kind of this new adventure?
Yeah, so I had already begun and was on my debt payoff journey. That was one thing that I wanted to do. And in the midst of that, after I finished that, I started building a freedom fund. And that was to help me transition from full-time teaching to coaching full-time, which is not a guaranteed income. And I was a little bit nervous about. And one thing that really helped me with that was I went to the Inspired Grace Retreat in, I think that was January of 2021. And Jill really coached me through making that a reality and not just like, oh, maybe one day I'll leave. Like, she actually helped me get a financial plan. So financial coaches need financial coaches, right?
Right.
She helped me build a financial plan to be able to make that a reality. And so what it was is I just put a little bit back every single month. It was really the money I was putting towards my debt before, so I didn't miss it. It just went in a savings account for me to feel safe about leaving that full-time income into the unknown.
Yeah, definitely. So I think this is one thing that probably holds a lot of financial coaches back of making that transition, is that a lot of people just need that stability. It's not about taking a leap of like, when 𝗓𝗓𝗄, the story that 𝗓𝗓𝗄 says is that just one day she can't handle this bureaucratic corporate job anymore. I'm going to do financial coaching. And I just kind of did it one day. So you started to add into that stability into a savings fund so that you can pay yourself
Yes.
as you transition. Is that kind of how you did it?
Yeah, and I really didn't want that pressure to be there. Like, I have to have more new clients, this many clients, and like also didn't want to pass that pressure on to potential clients, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to eat if you don't sign up with me.
Right.
So it kind of relieved a little bit of that desperation and like putting that kind of on people to pay me so that I could survive. So I kind of was like, I'm going to do this for myself. And if clients come, that's icing on top of the cake. And they did. So, yeah, I'm trying to think what else. And I'm also single. So I think part of that was like, nobody else can pay the bills but me. And I can't just, not pay. So
Right.
here we are.
Yeah.
I'm a financial
Perfect.
coach. I'm not going to not pay my bills.
Right. Perfect. I mean, that's a great plan, whether you're, you have that kind of not risk aversion, but you want that stability. But some people, I think either way, having that to fall back on as you're growing your business, like you said, it makes it easier. You feel less desperate on the negative side of things, but then also that all your needs are being fulfilled too, right? By having that backup. So brilliant, great.
Yeah.
Well, tell me more about currently, because I'm sure this has evolved over the past couple of years, but who is your ideal client and kind of what is your niche?
Okay. Yeah, it has evolved even more in the past like month, 2 months since Bali. So my ideal client is someone who is feeling really stuck in her job or her relationship and feels like, I can't leave this thing because I don't have enough money. I don't have the money. Like, this, whatever they're in is providing some kind of stability, like we talked about, for myself. So maybe this was me a few years ago, right? I feel like that's what we tend to lean towards. But somebody who is feeling really like, I can't leave because I don't have money, and I need to stay in this thing that's making me miserable and hate my life. And I'm just, living to work. I'm trying to say it the correct way. Living to work instead of working just to live. I don't know if I'm saying that the right way, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
My client is, yes, ready to leave. She's miserable and just doesn't see a way out. And so I'm kind of there to provide that way out for them and show them how we can make it a reality, not just like up in the clouds, like la la la, you can do it, but with like tangible steps and an action plan to get them to that freedom, which is why I call mine a freedom fund.
I love that. That's great. Do you, what kind of thinking back and thinking about, like you said, who your ideal client is, and it sounds like it's, was you kind of in that transitional period of your life. What made you want to become a financial coach?
So originally, when I started my debt payoff plan, I had no idea, no plans on becoming a financial coach, because I did have a degree in accounting, but that did not make me a financial coach, right? Didn't mean I was being responsible with my money. I started paying off my debt, and like, as I was paying each one down and I was watching, I have so much more money every month. Like, I had started budgeting and I saw where my money was actually going, where before it was just like, swap the card, spend the money. I need groceries, go get groceries. I want to buy this shirt, go buy the shirt. Or putting a lot of things on credit because I didn't budget for them. So once I started that debt payoff, I was like, it was like a light bulb in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much more money. And it was partly I was paying off that debt, and it was partly having an actual plan for my money, knowing what I was going to do with it, where it was going, and being more intentional. And I was like, I have to share this. I have to share this with the world. People don't know this. It's not something that I saw a lot of people talking about. And yeah, that just kind of led me to financial, and I discovered the Financial Coaches Unite group. The rest is history.
Here we are. Perfect. I think that's one of the common themes that we hear with financial coaches is that they have that transformation personally, And because they're at this point in their life where something has to change, and they help empower themselves, and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to help other people feel the same way, right, that I felt. And I think that's why naturally, I mean, 9.9 times out of 10, everybody's ideal client it evolves into being themselves at some point in their lives, for the most part, because that's what makes you an expert, is that because you got yourself through that. And I think that's why, and tell me if you agree with this, or kind of your thought process around your who your ideal client actually was from working through Bali. But you did you, well, and I'll ask this too, but people get stuck on having this imposter syndrome. Like, nobody's going to take me seriously. I don't know enough yet. Well, you got yourself through, that transitional period of your life. That makes you an expert for yourself. So why not work with people that are your clients, your ideal clients, that are yourself? Right? Did you have imposter syndrome like that first starting out?
Yeah, 100%. I've worked with business owners, and I worked with business owners before I was a full-time business owner, like when I was still teaching. And especially then, I was like, what if they find out like that I'm not all there and I'm not doing what they're doing? But really, they had their businesses, but I knew the financial side of it. Like, they weren't taking care. Yeah, they were making money, but like, who knows where it was going, right?
Sure.
And so, yeah, I did have that imposter syndrome. Like, who am I to tell these people what to do with their money? And sometimes they were making more money than me. And it was like, but I had more free money than them. So, it was like, okay, so if I can do this with my income, what can I help them do with theirs? And that kind of helped me work through that.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great observation. Absolutely. I want you to think back to, the past couple years, and maybe kind of that when you're starting to build your financial coaching business, before you kind of transition out of being a teacher, whatever that kind of point is, and you started to create your business. What were the first like stumbling blocks or bottlenecks that you found when you kind of started your business?
I think back then, I didn't know a lot of people were doing this. I wasn't sure that it was a real job. I mean, what real job, right? Like, who defines that? It was before I kind of found this community, and I was like, are people going to pay me to do this? Like, they're struggling with money and I want them to pay me. And I think that was a huge, huge thing, and a mindset thing that I had to really push through on that. But I think finding the community, finding Financial Coaches Unite, and then, FCA and the Mastermind have really flipped that on its head for me. And there's enough for us to all go around. Like, it's not like this sense of competition. It's more community.
I mean, that's such a good point, is that there are a lot of people that, to your last point about like having that kind of scarcity mindset of like, we're not in competition with each other. And that's one of the reasons why having an ideal client and a very specific niche is so important, is that, you get a call from someone that says, oh, I need your help, but they are absolutely not your ideal client. That can be for someone else that you refer to, that from Financial Coaches Unite or whatever, other community that you're in. And there are always people looking for, like, this is not my ideal client, but this might be somebody else's. And there's always people that need our help. Absolutely. Nikki, tell me, you're working through your business, you're probably getting some new clients and those type of things. What was the first sign that you got where you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I'm embodying this financial coach. I am a financial coach.
I think my first sign was I had a potential client. We had a discovery call, and she was like, not right now. I just don't have it in my budget, or I can't fund it. And I was like, okay. And I was disappointed, but I give people free will. I'm not going to pressure them and push them or whatever. And then a year later, she came back. And we had another discovery call, which my discovery call was like a Q&A, like, what do you need help with? Can I help you? Let's see. And she signed up. And I think for me, it was like, just because she wasn't ready a year ago, she watched me for a year. She did her thing for a year, and she realized, I need this help, and Nikki's the person to help me. And when she signed up, one of the things she said was, I trust you. And I was like, that is like the best thing you could tell a financial coach. And I know that's not like huge, but that was the moment for me that made me go, yes, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. And I am doing this work, and it is important, and it is helpful, and I'm reaching people, and here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. How long into like being a financial coach officially did it take till that happened? Was it immediate, or did it take a while?
No, it was not immediate. That was probably 3 years in out of the 4 years. Yeah, before I really felt it. And that's not the case for everybody. I'm like somebody who looks for evidence everywhere, and I'm like, I need this to be solid. But yeah, it was probably 3 years in before I really felt like I'm doing it. This is it. And I had a lot of that imposter syndrome in the beginning. So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say that, with the conversations that I've had with, lots of different financial coaches, that it does, and what people I think want is when they're starting out is I want to put my announcement that I'm starting financial coaching out to my Facebook friends and that kind of stuff. And they want like 10 people to sign up immediately, right? And that has never happened in the history of financial coaching. And I think even from that point of starting financial coaching business to kind of feel that validation that you are a financial coach and this is a real thing, and I can be, it's like finally hitting me. It does take like at least a year. I really feel that at least 18 months, probably closer to 2. So I don't think that you're that far off from even if average, to really feel that, to build it up. So I think that's the point I want to get across is that when you are like in your position that you're building out your financial coaching business, that successes, even quick little wins, are not going to be quick, unfortunately. Right.
Yes.
So I think that's just true across the board. So it takes patience, and it takes probably also some messy action at the same time.
Yes, agreed. And I will say it was 3 years from my beginning conceptual phase, but only about a year from the time I was like, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. This is gonna be my, career. So if that helps anybody watching.
Sure.
It was when I got a year from when I got serious about it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah. So I want to go back. We were talking about that kind of imposter syndrome that you had, especially around that, like the telling yourself that mindset of, well, these people are struggling with money. How can they pay me? How can you talk about maybe that mindset shift that you have had about that? Like, what's the story you're telling yourself, and maybe how have you changed that?
Yeah. So the thing was, like, people are struggling. They can't pay their bills. They're in debt. I'm going to ask them to go into more debt or to spend more money to pay me, and a lot of money, right? Like, not cheap. But here's what I figured out. And it wasn't immediate, and it wasn't like, oh, and I just immediately switched. Like, I've worked through a lot of mindset stuff and all kinds of that to get here. But at the core of it, I know that my coaching is going to bring them more money. And it may not be immediate. It may not be right away they see that return on investment. But I tell people, like, you're going to make from our coaching, you're going to make back 3 times what you pay me, or what you're paying me monthly. You're going to have 3 times extra after we finish this, protocol or this plan, this program I put you on. Like I said, it may not be immediately. It may take you like 3 years to get there, but I know you're going to get there. And that for me is like, this is a no-brainer. Like, you're paying me this, you're going to make this, or you're going to have this extra soon. And it may not be right now, but it will be soon. And then you're going to thank me, because you're going to have all that extra money.
Definitely. It's truly people investing in themselves, right? And that getting that return on investment from them putting in the hard work of actually you make way more.
Right.
You end up way more in the positive than when you were, and that's what the investment is. So
exactly.
that's a great mindset shift to have. Good.
Yeah.
So let's go back into, like you said, you kind of found Financial Coaches Unite. Maybe you were Googling about financial coaching and all those type of things. And then you found the Financial Coach Academy. What made you decide to invest in the Financial Coach Academy? Did you look at other programs? Like, what made you decide to lean into the FCA?
I'm trying to think back, but I found the group on Facebook, and I don't even know if I was searching or if it just came up because I've been looking, you know how they say groups you may want.
Right.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I want to join that one. So I got in there and I found out about Financial Coaches Academy. And at that time, I just knew my own journey. I didn't know really how to teach other people. Yes, I was a teacher, but I taught first graders. So I was like,
clients, are.
I know, right? It applies.
It helps.
I was like, how do I make sure that I'm taking care of everybody else, even people who are maybe in a different situation than I am, or have different scenarios that I hadn't dealt with? Like, I didn't know. I felt imposter syndrome, right? I'm like, I'm not qualified to really teach this just because I've done it myself. And I saw it being offered in the group. I don't remember the exact moment, but I probably pondered it because I'm one of those people. I don't buy right away. I probably pondered it for maybe a week or so. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And so I bought it, started it. I did the self-paced one before when they were still live going on. But I was like, let's just dip my toe in and see if this is something I can do. This was before I even started telling people I was doing this or announced hey, I'm a financial coach, because I was like, I'm going to check this out and see if I can do this. And this is what I want to do. So that's what led me to joining or purchasing FCA, let me say. Yeah.
Yeah. How long did it take you to complete get to a good point in the Financial Coach Academy?
I want to say 6 to 8 weeks.
Oh, wow.
But there was less in it then than there's in it now. Now is so robust. There's so much more in there. So I did redo it. I did the new ones, the updated. And I want to say probably 3 months to get through the updated. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's pretty quick, actually. That's good. Awesome. What are some of the bigger aha moments or the bigger takeaways from the academy that you've gotten?
So one of my favorite things in the academy was I'm trying to think what to call it. It was Jill and Jacqueline doing a Eureka session. So a mock Eureka session. And I was able to watch it from beginning to end. What do you say when people say this? And how, it really gave me a good idea of the flow of how that initial session should go. Because, that was one of the things that I was so worried about. Okay, if I get a client, then what do I do with them? How does this go? How do we go through everything? How do I tell them what they need without, making them feel nervous or upset? And that was probably the biggest aha for me, watching that, how smoothly it went and how it just transitioned through everything, and in the 2-hour time block that it was to take. So that's probably the thing that has stood out the most for me.
That's great. And kind of along those same lines, but I think the one of the many things that helps a lot of people are having the examples.
Yes.
Of exactly what to say, and the scripts and the templates and those type of things. Are those helpful for you?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I like to take a script and then I'll make it my own, but I like to know I want a template.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's helpful. Good. So I know that you've done Academy, gone through it 2 times, the new one and the previous one version.
Yes.
And then you've been in the Mastermind for quite a while. Can you, like, in your mind, what are the differences between the academy, but then also the mastermind?
So many. They're both great, but they're different. And I think the academy is really for getting started with your business. You want to do a financial coaching business. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to start and, how to go from here. Or maybe you have one, but you haven't had that like structure. And it really helps build that out, a foundation of getting started. Like, here's what to do. And I feel like the mastermind is really, really community driven, but it's also about like expanding and building on that foundational knowledge and that business that you've created. Having all the other coaches in there to like bounce ideas off of, having the coaches like 𝗓𝗪 and Jill, Jacqueline, all in there, helping us with questions we have. It's just amazing to have that like live feedback. Yeah. And being able to post and be like, hey, I want to do this. What do you guys think? And then, somebody saying that looks great. However, let's do this, this, and this and fix that. And then I just feel like I have so much support in the mastermind, and I've been in it since it started. So if that's any testament to how I feel about it.
Definitely. And then also, so you've gone to 2 Inspired Grace retreats, right? You did one that was in Phoenix, Scottsdale, and then you did the one in Bali just a couple months ago.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Right. And it sounds like, tell me, like that seems like that is, those Inspired Grace retreats have had big, what's even the word I want to say, like mindset shift and personal transformations for you inside your business. Can you talk about maybe some of the bigger things you've gotten from the retreats?
Yes. Oh, I want to talk about this because now I'm going to do my own retreats because of what it does for me. So the first one I went to was, I guess, in Phoenix, outside of Phoenix, in 2021. And that's when Jill really walked me through, here's your leave your job plan. So we got it done. But I think it's like the change of environment, being around in the energy of all these other people who are changing lives and who are excited about it, having that coaching from the mentors there, and really just getting out of your comfort zone, like all of that just really inspires me. It brings out my creativity, new ideas. And at Bali, the last one is when I was like, I love this so much. Like, why don't I do this for my people? And so like now, like one of my offerings is a retreat or like a one-on-one VIP day where we go in person somewhere, get out of your house, get out of your comfort zone, and let's explore this. Let's move forward and make huge transformational changes. And I just feel like that's what the retreats have done for me. I love the monthly, I love the community, the one-on-one, the calls, but the in-person, the energy is just for me.
And that's just probably one other thing to be like, and my ideal clients also, they want that experience, so that you can find clients from people that will like retreats, but also like your clients want that in-person coaching transformation as well, right? Is that, do you find that you're like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Like, do you feel that your ideal clients like to do retreats, or do you feel like your retreat is a way to find an ideal client?
Yes, I think my ideal clients like to travel because I like to travel. So I talk about it all the time. And if they're following me, they are like, okay. So retreat is kind of traveling and learning and growing and expanding your mindset and your business. It's just like ka-chow, like the whole package is right there in one. So yeah, I love them. I told 𝗓𝗪 I'll go to every retreat she has.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. And I mean, just yet another reason why really dialing in that ideal client is so impactful, because if your ideal client aren't the people that want to travel and do retreats, but you're having retreats, no
Yep.
wonder you're not making progress with that type part of your program, right?
Right, right.
So I want to give you a little time to brag about your own skills in business and coaching. Tell me, what is your favorite client success story?
Oh, my favorite client success story. Oh goodness, I don't have one prepared. I have so many like that I talk about. I'm like, what is my favorite? Okay, I'll talk about one of my most recent clients. She had a lot of things happen. She is somebody who works a full-time job, and she has a side gig, which she wants to make her full-time job, which is what a lot of my ideal clients are doing. They're going from full-time to, I have this passion that I really want to be my life. And so she was one of those people, and I'm like, okay, you're my ideal client. But from our work together, I do a lot of money. We do financial coaching, but I do a lot of money mindset as well. And she, a few things happened. She got some of her products. She makes candles, got them into a store, like to sell them in a store. Like before, they were just online, and so she sold a lot there. She bought a new car. She financed her wedding, financed her honeymoon, bought a new computer. I'm telling you, there's so many different things. What else did she do? Oh, she got a modeling contract. Yeah, I'm trying to think of more, but I just saw more confidence in her and all. But like all of those things she was able to accomplish from our work together. And she's like, thank you so much for leading me here. So it was like, making a plan for her money, designating it to what's important, like her wedding and the honeymoon were coming up very quickly. She was able to pay cash for her rings. A lot of things that people just don't really think about, or they just think, oh, I'll just put that on credit. This is what people do. We were able to make that like seamless for her. Her car, something on her car broke, and she was able to pay cash for it. But then later she ended up buying a new car, and she was able to pay for it because she had the room in her budget. And like all of these things, it was just like raining down blessings. Raining down good things were coming. And it just feels really good to be able to help people have that in their lives, to build that kind of life.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's because of you, which is like why you're doing what you're doing and why you're, in this field.
Yeah.
And what some amazing wins, like multiple wins for a client to have. And think about let alone one of those wins, but all of those, to go right for her. That's amazing. That just speaks to your strengths and your skill and your passion. So I love that. That's great.
Thank you.
I want to get back to, what is thinking back to going through the FCA. What is something that you learned, or the Mastermind, I guess, either one. What is something that you learned and you took away from that FCA or Mastermind that would have taken you forever to figure out on your own?
Sales. I think that's like one of the things, and that's probably more Mastermind. I can't remember if there's in the FCA. I'm sure there's something in there, but in the Mastermind, like that is the thing that I felt like I was at a 1 out of 10 on when I came in. Sales and referral partners, which kind of go hand in hand. And without sales and without referral partners, you don't have a business, right? You don't have income coming in. And I think that's hard for people to understand, or it was for me. Like, I don't care about that. I don't want to talk about that. But it's the lifeblood. Like, you have to have sales to have a business, to keep going, to pay the bills. So I think that was the biggest thing for me that I've learned from the FCA group. And like I said, it may have been more Mastermind, and we talked about it at the symposium this year too, which we haven't even talked about today.
Right.
But I 100% think getting more confident in sales and having it feel good rather than slimy, as you know, most people say, having it feel like the reason you sell is because you have something that's going to help people, and really changing that mindset there of like, you're not asking people for money, you're offering to help people and they are paying you and it's an exchange. And I think that is one of the biggest things that I have learned that I'm not sure that I ever would have learned, but that would have taken me a lot longer to try to do on my own, or I really would have resisted if it hadn't been presented to me and kind of like put out there, like, this is what we're working on this month. And I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah, because those are the things that you kind of like, well, that feels yucky to me. I'm going to avoid doing that.
Yeah. Like money for some people, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that is the bigger mindset shift around sales is that, well, I don't want to do sales because it feels yucky, but probably because we get sold things all the time. And of course it feels yucky.
Yes.
But that's where, and there is a big sales section in the academy where it kind of talks about like integrity with sales and doing it for the right reasons and helping you make that mindset shift. But that's not, again, it's not something that you can learn overnight.
Right.
It takes practice. It takes, for a lot of people, it's like, tell me the right things to say, give me that kind of template so I can make it my own. Those kind of things are very important to kind of set that up, but then also it does take some mindset work around sales, like you said. So that's a great observation. The last thing I want to talk about is, and to ask of you is, all the financial coaches that are watching this video, what is a piece or two of advice that you would give to an aspiring financial coach? The things that helped kind of get you to this point, the things that really helped you.
Okay. I would say keep going, number one, because that was a mistake I made in the first 2 years, and that's why it wasn't like a business for me. Keep going, get support, get FCA, join the Mastermind, and you'll be set. Like, for real, I don't see myself leaving anytime soon, and it has been pivotal in my business and really made it what it is and helped me to get to this point, is getting that structure set up for my business, knowing how to start a financial coaching business, and then having that ongoing support after.
Yeah. Well, tell me, you said that you felt like maybe you wanted to quit at some point, right? Is that kind of what you said? You said keep going, right? Because a lot of people are like, I'm getting frustrated. Quickly tell me about like where that came up for you, and like how you, like, did you feel like you wanted to quit, or it was going too slow, and then you wanted, like, what, and if so, what kind of mindset shift did you have to make to keep going?
So I think it was like, what you were talking about. People say they want to make the post and have 10 people sign up, and that just doesn't happen. And well, maybe it does for some people, but it didn't happen for me. And it felt like I was posting and not getting any traction, not making any money. And so, like, I would just quit posting for like 3 months. And in reality, if I had kept going through all those months, like, it would have helped build that trust in my audience and in myself. Like, you have to kind of trust yourself and have confidence in yourself that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And then also the people see, oh, that's Nikki. She's still doing this. It must be going well. She must know what she's talking about. And I didn't know that, or I didn't kind of put that together at the time. And so, if I would just get frustrated and be like, okay, I'm done for a while, and I would stop. And so, yeah, I just encourage you to keep going, because sometimes we're like right at the edge. There's a meme or like a cartoon of this guy digging. I don't know if you've seen it. He's digging for diamonds, and there's 2 guys, and one stops. He's like this close, and he goes back because he's like, I haven't found anything yet. And then the other guy breaks through, and he has all the diamonds because he kept going. Like, maybe you've been going for 100 days, but what if it takes 101 days? And so, yeah, I just want to encourage that.
Definitely. It is, slow progress, but as long as you're taking meaningful steps forward with working on yourself and getting your message out there and those type of things. And like, like 𝗓𝗏 says, we're looking for progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
Right. It's never going to be perfect. And that's where we kind of say, take a little bit of messy action, trust yourself, trust the process, but we're looking for that slow but gradual progress, but not perfection.
Yes. Love it.
Great. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for joining me and chatting. I think you've made some great points, and I loved your honesty about kind of the mindset shifts that you've had to make in your journey to becoming an awesome financial coach. So thank you so much. If anybody watching, go to Financial Coaches Unite, and I bet you can find Nikki in there, and I'm sure she'd be happy to answer any questions that you have about her journey and kind of the things that helped her. So Nikki, thank you so much, and I appreciate you and your time, and we'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.
Absolutely. Thank you.